supposed to hide them, right?
Yeah,
Yep. Good evening, school board, Dr. Hernandez, and district staff. The time is now 6 p.m. on October 16th, 2018, and I call this meeting of the Edgewood Independent School District School Board to order. I will call the roll. Vice President Frank Espinosa.
Present.
Secretary Stella Camacho.
Here.
Board Member Timothy Payne.
Present.
Board Member Richard Santoyo.
Here.
Board Member Martha Castilla.
Here.
Board Member Edward Romero will not be joining us this evening. Board President Roy Soto, I'm here as well. Let the record show that a quorum of the Edgewood Independent School District Board is present, and this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Meetings Act. Could everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge, in a moment of silence. Ms. Calderon-Lugo.
Good evening, Board President, members of our school board, Dr. Hernandez, staff, and community. We announced at our September board meeting that from now on, the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge of Allegiance, and the U.S. Pledge would be recited by our students. So this evening, we have our students from Gus Garcia Middle School who are going to be reciting the pledge. They've made their way up. Thank you all for being here. And if we have any parents of our students who are here this evening, please wave now that you're all standing and be recognized. Thank you all for bringing them tonight and allowing them to be here this evening. The campus principal is Mr. Christopher Bland, who I would like to introduce to the podium at this time, who is going to introduce our students.
Good evening, President Soto, board members, Dr. Hernandez, district leadership staff, and community members. Good evening. Present today presenting the Pledge of Allegiance or students from Gus Garcia. The students we have are Abraham Cruz, Alexis Gonzalez, Alejandra Jimenez, Araceli Ramos, and Fabian Bella, accompanied by their LOTC instructor, Captain Mora.
Thank you very much again to the students of Gus Garcia Middle School. Let's give them a big round of applause. You may all be seated, because it is a little nerve-wracking standing up here at a board meeting in front of all of these adults. So thank you very much again to our students. Also this evening, we are very happy to once again present to you the Leader of the Pack highlight video that recognizes our outstanding staff and students that exemplify the PAC, which stands for professionalism, accountability, and communication. Now, before we play this video, I want to introduce to you our leaders. I want to start tonight's recognition with an incredible student from one of our campuses. She is Ro Arteaga from Kennedy High School. Ro, can we please have you come forward? As Ro makes her way, we'd like to ask if there's any family, friends who are with Ro this evening accompanying her. Your principal, so let's have Ms. Principal Martinez please rise. Thank you for supporting our students. So Ro is the drum major of Kennedy of the Kennedy High School Band. She's a member of the dance team. She takes multiple dual credit courses, and at her young age, she has already demonstrated an incredible level of commitment and professionalism, and soon everyone here will see why. Ro, thank you very much for being a leader of the pack. And she just made it in time because she was at band practice. So thank you, Ro, for being here tonight. Next, I'd like to introduce Miss Ellie Gearhart, principal at Lyndon B. Johnson Elementary School. Miss Gearhart, please come forward. And as she makes her way, also, if there's any family, friends, colleagues who would like to be recognized this evening, please stand at this time. So Ms. Gearhart at her campus for the past several weeks has had the highest attendance in the district. Her attendance has surpassed 97%, which really has created an environment for constant learning at the campus. The students are rewarded by having ice cream parties, popcorn at the end of the day. They're given pencils with special messages on them, and they also have the opportunity to have their names entered into a raffle to possibly win a bike, a his and hers bike. So that's really exciting. Ms. Gearhart says it's a true team effort and is very proud of what she does. So Ms. Gearhart, thank you for being a leader of the pack. And our last leader of the pack this evening, we'd like to ask Mr. Mario Lopez from our Edgewood ISD Transportation Department to please come forward. If there's anybody else from our Transportation Department or any family friends that are joining you, please have them rise at this time. Yay, Mr. Molina. So why is Mr. Lopez a leader of the pack? Well, one afternoon he noticed that one of our students needed some additional support. We'll put it that way. And he made some observations, so he decided to communicate these observations with the individuals that needed to be notified. Thanks to that observation, thanks to that communication, he was able to make a difference in one of our students' lives. And shortly, you will see exactly what it was that he did. So, Mr. Lopez, thank you for being a leader of the pack. And now you will see why these individuals are our leaders of the pack.
I'm Ro Arteaga, and I'm a senior here at John F. Kennedy. I'm in dual credit, which means I take college classes here at Kennedy while taking my normal classes. I'm in our dance team. I'm in our band. I'm flute, but I'm also a drum major. Just know that it's a lot of time management. You have to be willing to do both, and you have to be willing to give 100% at both, even when you're feeling at 50%. You have to be in charge of a lot of people with a lot of different personalities, but also you have to be that person in a different group. You have to be that person that has to learn from a different leader. Teachers always remind me to turn in my assignments. I've always had a bunch of support from the administration here. They're always like, go for it, yes, you can do it. Just go and do it. You don't want to regret not doing anything, especially because high school is such a short experience. It may feel long because it's 4 years, but I'm already on my 4th year, and I can tell you that I wish I had done so many other things. But it was really worth it. Like, it was really fun.
I'm Ellie Gearhart. I'm at LB Johnson Elementary School. One of the first things that we did, we've created an attendance committee. Every morning they go to their classrooms, they find out who's not there, and they meet in the front office, and they make the personal phone calls home to the parents. And so our goal is to ensure that the students are in the classroom getting the education that they deserve. The feedback from the parents, a lot of times, they explain to us what's going on with the family. There's been times that we had to request a ride for a student because they were not able to get up and bring the students. They're sick themselves. Every student matters. It's every student every day. Attendance matters. If we can't get them here, we can't educate them. We just want them to know that they're important. It is my calling to be an educator. This is what I was meant to do. It's not I have to go to work, but I get to go to work every day. And to see their faces when they come in the door and get those greetings from them every single day just makes me feel that, I have met my challenge in life.
We love LBJ! Go Wildcats!
I'm Mario Lopez. I work with transportation, school bus driver. As soon as we clock in, we're out, go to the bus. First stop is 7 a.m. I see them in the morning, and they come on the bus with a very nice good morning. It's not, oh, here you are again, and it lifts the child up. They may not get it at home as often as some of us did. Lifting the child up is rewarding. I had a child, he was coming in to the bus with a sweater way oversized. He had the jacket rolled up and it was swinging down to his knees. So I came and asked Mr. Molina if it was possible to get a jacket for someone, and he called Perales, talked to the principal, got an okay from the parent, and I took it from there. And when I got the kid a jacket, it was cold, it's the right thing to do. It's helping out, it's in my nature, I want to say. I'm the youngest out of 12, and at home it was always, we were there for each other. It's rewarding to me that I am not just employed by the school district, but I'm doing something that is giving back, and in return, we get to see the children grow, and, it's just motivating.
So if we can please have Ro Arteaga, Ms. Ellie Gearhart, and Mario Lopez please come forward once again. We just want you to get the recognition that you deserve, and we're so proud of each and every one of you. Thank you for representing Edgewood ISD, and thank you for being this month's Leaders of the Pack. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
We'll now move to agenda item 3. Dr. Hernandez, you have the floor.
So good evening, everybody. As part of this evening's superintendent's report, there are a couple of items that I want to review with the members of our community. So welcome to the members of our community who are visiting us this evening. I want to go ahead and start with the superintendent's report. The first report item that I have for this evening is we do want to bring recognition to Roy Cisneros Elementary, which is one of our campuses that received 2 distinctions this school year. And so as part of telling our narrative or telling our own story, one of the things that we want to do is make sure that our community knows the good work that is happening in our campuses. So this evening, we would like to give our principal who moved on from Cisneros Elementary onto Kennedy High School, that's Gracie Martinez, and our current principal who's working with the staff, Ms. Salazar, to please come to the front of the dais here. And we have a presentation that we'd like to give for the principals. And of course, we're going to put this item out on the front of the actual physical building, because I think it's really important that folks see the great work that's going on in our building. So if you'll come up, we want to take your picture. And let's give these ladies a round of applause. And so we would expect that over the course of the next year and years to come, we'll be giving out more of these banners to our school principals. I see a lot of our principals here this evening, so we would like to continue to give these out and let our community know that there are great things going on in Edgewood ISD. So thank you to both ladies, Ms. Martinez also, and to both ladies for cultivating a great experience for our kids at Cisneros. Thank you. And that's a picture of some of our faculty there at Cisneros Elementary. We are going to be holding a reception for them the second week in November. So our staff at Cisneros should be expecting us to show up with food and lots of a good time and really recognize their hard work, because obviously the hardest positions in the district are the staffs at the school, teachers, support staff, ladies in the front office, cafeteria, transportation, everybody that makes our schools work hard every day for our kiddos. So we want to recognize that. And that's part of the goal one, which is focus on student success. So the second thing that I want to highlight this month is that this is National Principals Month. And so as you can see, that's our Brady Bunch version of a picture, those of you that watch Brady Bunch growing up. That is a picture of all of our principals in Edgewood ISD. And I will tell you, in the 3 months that I have been here, I am very proud of these men and women who represent our campuses and who show up every day and serve and support our students. You'll hear me say that a lot. We are here to serve and support our teachers, our students, our community, those of you sitting out in this audience as well, as we begin and continue to tell the narrative of our own story here in Edgewood ISD. And so if you see a principal this evening, please thank them for the hard work that they do. Obviously, our principals serve their teachers, their assistant principals. I see assistant principals too in the audience. You are all doing a great work in serving our teachers. So I didn't want to lose light of the fact that our principals are doing a great work out there, and we're going to continue to honor them, not just this month, but every month of the year. So again, National Principals Month. The second item that I want to bring to everybody's attention, part of having a successful school district is that you engage in partnerships with different individuals and groups outside of the school district. Now, we are very fortunate here in Edgewood ISD to be working alongside many different groups. If you were here last month, you noticed we highlighted 3 different groups that support our schools. So we're going to continue to do that every month that we move forward and highlight all the men and women and groups that support our kids, because it takes a lot to make sure that our kids know that, one, they're loved, they're respected, and that we help them through their journey in Edgewood ISD. So the first group I'm going to call up are the Compadres. They have been giving us scholarships. The Edgewood class of 1967, this group has been giving us lots of support over the years in terms of financial dollars to help our students move on to colleges. So if you are here with the Compadres group, would you please come up to the front so that we may recognize your hard work and efforts. Let's give them a round of applause as they come up. So we're going to take your yes. So again, we want to thank this group. Let's give them a round of applause while they're taking their picture. The second group that we want to highlight this evening is also our Edgewood District Veterans Group. They also are another group that supports our campuses in many different ways through a lot of different drives that they do. So if you're a member of the Edgewood District Veterans Group, would you please come up as well this group will come up for your recognition. And let's give them a round of applause as they come up. So I've had the distinctive pleasure of attending the Wednesday breakfast with these gentlemen. This is the Romeo group. I don't remember what the Romeo stands for. Retired old men eat out. That's what they call it. And so I've had the pleasure of going over at least 2 or 3 times now with them, and it is a very interesting group. I enjoyed my time with them. And again, they do so much work for our school district that, again, we're going to continue to highlight our different groups and really just tell the story of what they do for our district. So I'll let them take that picture, and then we'll. All right. So let's give them a round of applause. And, gentlemen, if you'll come up.
I like that so much.
No. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing all the heavy lifting. Thank you. Colonel?
Thank you.
Okay, ya está. Ya está. Thank you. So thank you again to both of those groups. We'll continue on with the presentation. The last item that I want to talk about this evening is our goal 4, which is always having a focus on employees and organizational improvement. Last week I had the opportunity to meet for the first time with the District Professional Council. And for those of you that don't know what that is, every school and department in the school district has an opportunity to elect a member that represents their campus in a meeting with me and is able to come in and bring any types of questions that they may be having wonderings about, whether it's a budget question or attendance question or insurance question or any type of question that that particular faculty or department would like an answer to. And so what they'll do is they'll send us questions 2 weeks in advance of a meeting. I will turn around and take those to the executive team, and we will get them an answer, respond, and come back to this group and say, here are our responses to your question. And so if they have any questions that they need elaborated on, this is an opportunity for them to ask. I've asked the principals to give these individuals an opportunity to go back to their departments and also share their findings in terms of what answers did they get and then prepare for the next meeting. One of the things that we are working on heavily this year is to remain clear and transparent with our folks. Over my first 100 days, my goal is to meet with as many people as I can. And the thing that I hear over and over is, sir, we just want you to be clear and transparent with what you expect from us. And so I'm going to continue to try to do that by meeting with as many people as possible. So I think a lot of people know that if you're willing to get up early in the morning and meet with me, I'm in my office at 6 a.m. most days. And so if you want to come in, have a cup of coffee with me, we'll have a conversation about anything you want. And so, again, I wanted to highlight that this afternoon or this evening for the superintendent's report, and that brings my report to an end.
Our next agenda item is item 4. The school board will hear a report regarding the school board continuing education credits. The following board members have completed the required continuing education as required by the State Board of Education. Martha Castilla. The following are deficient in the number of required credits. Edward Romero. And the following board members have exceeded the number of hours required for continuing education. Roy Soto, Frank Espinosa, Sela Camacho, Richard Santoyo, and Timothy Payne. Completing the required continuing education is a basic obligation and expectation of any board member under the State Board of Education rules. The next agenda item is item 5. At this time, we move to the consent agenda. According to Robert's rules, the consent agenda is non-negotiable. Board members, do we have a motion?
Mr. President, a motion we approve consent items A through O as listed in our consent agenda.
Do we have a second? Do we have any discussion?
Mr. Soto, I have one question regarding item F, consideration on the budget amendments. Just for my own understanding and all of ours, just clarification of the adjustments that were made, why they're being done, the decrease and the increase in certain areas.
Good evening, Board. Board President, Dr. Hernandez. Ms. Camacho, can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, ma'am. I noticed that we had the adjustments of a decrease, I don't have it in front of me, but a decrease in one of the sections, 11,000. Am I reading that right?
Yes, ma'am. Let me turn to that page.
And then there was an increase in other areas.
So it's a decrease in both areas. We have a decrease in revenue for pre-K program with a corresponding decrease in expenditures. We got a little bit less money for the pre-K program than we thought. So we had to decrease the revenue and decrease the expenses by the same amount. So they look like that there's an increase and a decrease, but it's really a decrease to both line items, to the revenue and the expenses.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. I'm just looking for the picture of it so I can make sure I have it. Because I guess I just want to understand that they're not, like, we're not taking from one area and giving to another. That's
no, ma'am. We just got less money. So we're decreasing the expected revenue. And because we're not going to have that revenue, we're decreasing the expenses. So we're not taking from one area to the other.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
So everything remains in balance.
That's correct.
Thank you. Board members, do we have any other discussion? If we don't have any further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. The time is now 6:27 p.m., and the board will adjourn into closed session to discuss agenda items 6A, 6B, and 6C pursuant to section 551.071 and 551.074 of the Texas Governance Code. The board is now in closed session.
toda mi ropa también. Okay? And my sisters, on Hortensia, but it had okay?
Reconvened from closed session. The time is now 7:34 p.m., and the board will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. Board members, do we have a motion regarding agenda item 7A?
Mr. President, regarding agenda item 7A, I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation to propose the termination of Irma de la Cruz's employment contract for good cause and authorize the superintendent to send notice of same as discussed in closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Secretary Stella Camacho moves. Board member Richard Santoyo seconds. Do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Board members, do we have a motion regarding agenda item 7B?
Mr. President, regarding agenda item 7B, I move to authorize legal counsel to engage in settlement discussions in the matter of Bryson versus Edgewood ISD under the terms and conditions discussed in closed session.
Do we have a second? Secretary Stella Camacho moves. Board member Martha Castilla seconds. Do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Board members, do we have a motion regarding agenda item 7C?
Mr. President, regarding agenda item C, I move to accept the resignation of Board Trustee Edward Romero effective immediately as presented.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Secretary Stella Camacho moves. Board member Richard Santoyo seconds. Do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. I would like to take a few moments to make a brief comment. Our school board member, Mr. Edward Romero, has submitted his resignation as a trustee of Edgewood ISD School Board. The Edgewood ISD Board governing body wishes Mr. Romero all the best in his future endeavors. The Edgewood ISD board members are prepared to continue conducting business as usual, always putting the students of Edgewood ISD first. The decision by Mr. Romero to resign from the school board was his own. The board will work with the district legal counsel for our next step. On behalf of the Edgewood ISD School Board, we would like to publicly thank Mr. Romero for his service to the Edgewood ISD community, students, and staff. Thank you. Board members, we do not have anyone that has requested to speak to the board. So we will now move to adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. President, motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Board member Timothy Payne moves. Board member Martha Castilla seconds. Do we have any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.